everyone, I am Poonam Mishra and I am along with my team members is making this video to give a brief about how a project such as construction of a factory is implemented. In this video, we are going to talk about work breakdown structure of construction of factory and the activities involved in this. We will also show you PERT chart, Gantt chart and resource allocation in the project. We are also going to talk about risk associated with the construction of factory and how we can tackle those risks. You will hear voices of following person during the video. Prachi Kakade, Pranjali Girde, Nilisa Soni and Pragati Vyas. Now let us see what it is to construct a factory. Construction of a factory is a very burdensome and backbreaking activity. It is a very elaborate process which require proper scheduling. Delay in work in one activity may result in extension of expected project length which will lead to increase in cost of the budget. At minimum, construction of a factory takes around 10 months if assuming everything to be optimistic and maximum 2 years. In our case, it is taking 13 months approximately for construction of our factory.
Now, let us move on to the work breakdown structure of construction of factory. A work breakdown structure in project management is a deliverable-oriented breakdown of a project into smaller components. A WBS is the key project deliverable that organizes the teamwork into manageable sections. The goal of the WBS is to make a large project more manageable. Breaking it down into smaller chunks means work can be done simultaneously by different team members, leading to better team productivity and easier project management overall. Now, the activities related to the construction of factory can be broadly described under the 5 heads, which are enabling works, excavation and steel, external work, internal work, and site cleanup. First one is enabling work, which means procedures to start the construction like purchase of land and taking temporary connection of electricity and water. In our case, the connection is taken from the Maharashtra State Electricity Distribution Company Limited. Now next one is excavation and steel. In excavation and steel, which basically involves foundations, floor leveling up to the plinth level and construction of pillars. Floor leveling and pillars go side by side in the project. Now next one is external work. The works which are basically related to the design of factory are known as external work. External work contains the temporary connection of electricity and boring, slab and concreting slab, brickwork and removal of support. Now the next one is internal work. As the name suggests, internal work are the work which is internal to the factory like fabricant work, internal wiring, plumbing and cabling, flooring, installation of machine and factory tiles, office internal, interior and factory fire safety, plastering of factory walls, high tension electricity, white putty and coloring of walls. Now the last one is site cleanup. After the completion of the work, extra material like sand, cement, concrete, binding wires, etc., which are left, are removed from the site. This is called as site cleanup.
For construction of factory, we go down through different activities which are flashing on the screen along with the days required for particular activity. First and foremost, we purchase a land for construction and further proceed for registry and licensing of a land. For the procedure of construction, we need the temporary connection of electricity and boring which is taken from MSADCL. Next, the execution part starts from here, excavating the land and leveling the land by digging out unwanted material. Pillars are built immediately after leveling. Temporary structure and electric pipe wiring is done for the support of slab. Slab is prepared after temporary structuring within 2 days, but 15 more days are required for strengthening the concrete with water. Next, brickwork is started by keeping gaps for the doors, windows and electricity fitting, followed by removal of support, which was previously given on number 8. If one wants to make another floor, then the pillars and floor leveling along with the external work is required to be repeated. Once the external work is done, the internal work comes in function. Activities like fitting of doors and windows, internal wiring, plumbing, inlet connection to boring, sewage, septic tank, flooring, cabling are all done simultaneously. Floor can be made of concrete using porta, stone and granite. Installation of machines is done followed by office interior and safety. Other activities like plastering of factory walls are carried out. High tension electricity is the major activity which is the permanent supply. The connection is taken from pole to the transformer, from transformer to the panel and finally from a panel to the machine. This is the major reason for delay of the project. White putty and coloring is the final part for finalizing the factory. Construction is finished by cleaning up the site by taking the waste material to a proper place which can be reused later.
Now let us see Gantt chart, PERT chart and resource allocation. Think about how challenging it would be to juggle a dozen balls at once. You would have to keep your eye on all of them and know when to catch each one. If you miss just one, this could spoil your whole performance. Chart is an acronym for Program Evaluation and Review Technique. A PERT chart is a project management tool used to schedule, organize and coordinate tasks within a project. PERT is a method to analyze the tasks involved in completing a given project, especially the time needed to complete each task and to identify the minimum time needed to complete the total project. Now let us see what is resource allocation. We have limited resource which can be applied to multiple activities. These resources should be allocated in such a way that one particular resource is not allocated to two different activities. At the same time, neither any resource is kept idle for a long time. If by chance, if any resource is kept idle for a very long time, it can be applied to some other project by the project manager. Now let us see Gantt chart, PERT chart and resource allocation and resource usage in MS project. A project is that of a construction of factory, life project of RMT Industries. Our project is taking 442 days, that is 14.5 months to finish. We have already fed data as you can see on the screen. Now let us go to Gantt chart. Gantt chart. This is a Gantt chart. In Gantt chart, there are three main relationships between sequential tasks. One is finish to start. That is, task cannot start before a previous or related task is finished. However, they can start later. Start to finish, which means task cannot start until a preceding task starts. However, they can start later. Finish to finish. That is, task cannot end before a preceding task ends. However, they can end later. A fourth type, start to finish, is very rare. Now, let us see PERT chart or network diagram in MS Excel. The following notations are used in PERT chart or network diagram in MS Project. The first one is task. The task involves task name, and this, as you can see in the highlighted box, it denotes task name, which is purchase of land and registry and license. Task ID, in our case it is 2. Duration, that is 15 days, and start and end date, which is 1st of January 19 to 21st of January. Now we can also see the arrows which shows dependency, that is temporary connection of electricity and boring is dependent on purchase of land and registry licensing. The pink color shows that this is a critical path, whereas white color shows that it is a non-critical path activity. Now the third one is lane. A lane allows you to arrange your PERT chart into horizontal zones by line. Each zone represents the responsibility of particular class, worker or any concept with the group of tasks it is responsible for. In our case, the lane, that is enabling work lane and excavation and steel erection lane and external work lane, internal work lane, these are the lanes. See, we can see here the temporary connection of electricity boring is followed by foundation. Now, this is in the second lines, that is in the second lane, because it belongs to excavation and steel erection. In our case, lanes are divided as per the work breakdown structure and not based on workers. Now, let us see resource sheet. These are the following resources available in our available for our project. Okay, and let us see the usage sheet. This sheet shows how a particular resource can be is used for a particular job. Like owner is used for purchase of land and registry. Electrician is used for the following 4 tasks, and we can also see for how long they are used over here. Like electrician is used per year from 6th of January for 16 hours each.
Now, let us talk about some of the risks associated with the construction of factory and how can we minimize the risk of such contingencies. The greatest risk is if a worker meets with an accident or injury, which can be tackled by taking safety measures such as wearing helmets, proper boots and other safety equipments required at construction site. The other risk is when there is shortage of laborers. Such events happen especially when the area of construction is a Naxalite area. Labor shortage can cause any project to delay. Thus, it is very important to deal with this contingency before the start of project by employing few extra workers by paying extra money. Another risk associated with construction of factory is unexpected increase in material cost, which can be taken care if materials are purchased beforehand. This risk needs expertise knowledge as purchasing materials beforehand may also prove to be disadvantageous if materials price fall in future. Damage or theft of equipment and tools is common at construction sites. Thus, proper surveillance is required. Accountability of team members is important to minimize this risk. Again, natural disaster is a great risk which cannot be avoided completely, but steps can be taken to minimize the effect of such disaster. Ratan Tata constructed a steel plant at Jamshedpur despite knowing the fact that it is prone to earthquakes. The area mostly have earthquake of richer scale 6 to 7. The steel plant could tackle the earthquake up to richer scale 8, thus minimizing the risk of natural disaster of construction site. Apart from these, there are various other risks associated with the construction of factory which needs to be dealt with throughout the life of project. Risk management is important to save cost or time or both. This is all from our side. Hope you like this video. Please share, like, subscribe and comment. Thank you.